Welcome back to La Pausa, a Pints and Punditry podcast here at the Pitchside Pub. This is episode 20, and wow, what a weekend in the Premier League. Pure chaos, pure old school Barclays, just happenings all over the league. It was incredible to watch, and obviously, as a Manchester City supporter, I enjoyed it immensely because after a nice easy win against Luton Town, we got the help we needed. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. It was a fun weekend to watch. If you're a neutral, that should have been absolutely incredible to watch. Basically, if you're anything but a Liverpool or Arsenal supporter, you should have had a lot of fun this weekend. And yet, for as incredible as the on-pitch product was this weekend, the response from fans was just so bad, so poor. It just brings out the worst in fans. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today, because the responses to what happened on the pitch today were just awful. Just awful from this weekend, I should say. The responses from this weekend are just awful, and it's bringing out the worst in everybody. And it kind of sucks, to be honest. But I'm not going to let it ruin my good time, because Manchester City now sits in the driver's seat, which is all you can ask for. However, it is not over. And anybody saying that it's over is not just disingenuous, but they're wrong. They're flat out wrong, and they're either trying to defend themselves as a defense mechanism for the hurt that is coming, or they're just stupid. I'm not sure which. I think it's more of the former. But we're going to talk about that today here on the podcast. But before we do, hit that subscribe button for me down below, please. We're starting to build a nice base of followers. I love to see it. So make sure you follow the podcast, follow the channel for all the content that we are producing on a daily and weekly basis. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Pitchside Pub. Get down in that comment section. Tell me why I don't know what I'm talking about. Try to come up with something other than the fact that I'm American. See if we can talk about Manchester City without the number 115. I dare you. It's not that hard to do. And just let me know your thoughts. This should have been a fun weekend for everybody. And no one seems to be enjoying it the way they should be. I get it. If you're a Liverpool supporter, you're an Arsenal supporter, that's fine. I'd be upset too. But everybody else, man, this is supposed to be fun. And that was the weekend we were all waiting for. We didn't expect it to all happen at once, but it did, and it was pretty awesome. And if you haven't already, go check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. We're writing some blog posts that go with these videos, some topics that don't get covered in the videos, trying to produce extra content for everybody to enjoy to keep the discussion going. Because that's what this is all about. This is supposed to be fun. I wish I'd been at a bar watching it with some buddies, but I was mowing my grass and coaching Little League instead. So this is what happens when you have to be an adult. But you can still enjoy an amazing weekend of European football. So we saw the results, right? Loss by Liverpool against Crystal Palace at home. That's not a good one. Arsenal loss at home against Aston Villa. That's not nearly as bad. And what I don't want to hear, here's a couple things I've been hearing all weekend that are just flat out wrong. One is that either Arsenal or Liverpool is bottling it, that these are bottle jobs. No, they're not. No, they're not. They didn't choke. They got beat. They got beat. That's why you play all 38 games. That's why you have to play these games. These are not bottle jobs. The league is just this damn good. And that's the thing that I think longtime fans are not realizing, is just how good the competition is in the Premier League these days compared to 10 years ago, even less. The league is so deep right now that even a team like Crystal Palace can come into your place and beat you. And it wasn't like Liverpool just, choked. They got beat. Crystal Palace beat them. Now, you can say that Liverpool missed some scoring opportunities, and that's true. They outplayed Crystal Palace in some ways. They got a ton of shots. They had plenty of opportunities. They didn't convert them. Well, that's not that abnormal for Liverpool. It's not that abnormal for Darwin Núñez, who has had a good season but is not a high-efficiency scorer. He scores a lot of goals because he gets a lot of opportunities. But with that is going to come some misses. This one came in at an inopportune time. This loss came in at an inopportune time. Their drop in form, losing to Atalanta and now to Palace, came at an inopportune time. It doesn't mean Jurgen Klopp's a bad coach. It doesn't mean you'd be better off without him, or that, maybe it's a good thing he's leaving, which is what I saw some Liverpool fans saying on Twitter, but what a ridiculous statement that is. No, you're not better off. Even if you get Ruben Amorim or another really good coach, you're not better off without Jurgen Klopp. Don't say that because they've played 2 bad games. No, teams dip in form all the time. That's why you play sports. If a team is good for all 50-something games they have to play in a season this year, that is an all-time legendary team. And that's not what any of these teams are. This is not Manchester City's best team. This is not Liverpool's best team. This may be one of the better Arsenal teams of late, but it's certainly not a world-class legendary type team. These are 3 very good teams at the top of the league, and they have all stumbled at various points. And that gets to my second point, which is why it's not over. Anybody whose reaction was, well, the league is over. No, it's not. No, it's not. You are disingenuous at best or uneducated at worst. I think most of it is a defense mechanism. Everybody's waiting for the City run, right? And that the minute you give them an inch, they're not going to budge and they're going to take it. Well, that may be true, but that doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean it's over. City has 6 games left just like everybody else, and they've got some stumbling blocks along the way. They have to host Wolves, who beat them earlier this year. Yes, going to Molineux is different than hosting them at home, but Wolves can beat anybody on any given day. They have to play West Ham, who can beat anybody on any given day. They have to go to Tottenham, which is a place they have not played well, and they have not gotten decisive victories. In fact, they've never beaten them in the Premier League at this stadium. They did get the FA Cup victory there, but even that was a hard-fought 1-0 victory that could have gone either way. I mean, these are tough games. Their next game is at Brighton, and that's what comes down. That's why this can't be over. That's why this season can't be over, and that's also why, yes, these were bad losses by Arsenal and Liverpool, given the context and the situation. And in Liverpool's case, Palace is a team that they should beat. But on any given day, just about any club in the Premier League can beat just about any other club. You can't lose to Sheffield this year. You can't lose to Burnley. You can't lose when Luton comes to your place. Going to Luton is a tough place to play. It happens. It has happened a couple times. Teams have dropped points because that is just such a unique place to play. But you can't lose when you host them. Outside of that, just about everybody else in the league has a chance. Look at the bottom of the table. Your Palaces, your Brentfords, your Wolves, those teams can all beat you on any given day. Even Everton, they're at the bottom of the table, but they should be, 8 points higher at this point? Nottingham Forest has their days. Anybody can beat anybody at any given time. There are so few easy wins in the Premier League anymore, which means, one, it's a lot tougher to rotate players, and the game schedule, the fixture schedule is just so congested as it is. So you can't rotate guys the way you'd like to. And just mentally, you don't get those games, very few games like City had over the weekend hosting Luton, where it's like, okay, let's get our early goals and take care of business, right? That was an easier game for City. That was their turn on the schedule. They've got the easier run-in now because they've had a tougher schedule to this point. That's the beauty of the Premier League compared to, let's say, American football, where the schedules aren't always the same. There's a different strength of schedule because you don't play every team. Here, every game, home and away. So it all balances out. And City, and this is part of why it can't possibly be over, City has dropped points to Chelsea twice. They lost to Wolves. These games are there for the taking, and so it can't be over. It's not over. City has work to do. Yes, they're in the driver's seat now, but it is so far from over to say it's over with 6 games to play and a 2-point differential. It's just nonsensical, and that is just such an obvious defense mechanism from anybody who is hurting from this loss. And hey, again, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, hey, listen, rough weekend. I sympathize with you. I've been there, and it's tough. It's tough, but that's why we play the games. That's why we play the games. That's why we love it. But it's not over. Go take care of your business, and now you are where City was 48 hours ago, right? Knowing you have to take care of business and hoping somebody slips. Right? You got to take care of what you have to do, and you got to hope somebody blinks. You got to hope City blinks at this point. And when they do, be ready to take it. And that's what City's been doing. And so to say it's over is just so disingenuous. The league is so deep right now, and that's what's so awesome about this, and that's what we should be celebrating, is the depth of this league. The fact that a Palace team, now that Roy Hodgson has retired and Oliver Glasner has come in and is doing a fantastic job. He's got that team organized. Since he has joined, they're about mid-table, and they are a competitive side. They were organized and they put up a good fight against Liverpool. And yeah, Liverpool missed some chances, but Palace wasn't going to give them that many, and they took theirs, and that's a good Palace side. And you look at the depth of the Premier League. That Palace side that's currently sitting mid-bottom table, their payroll, their yearly wages, not the transfer, but their yearly wages would be fourth in La Liga, would be fourth in the Bundesliga, would be, I think, third in Ligue 1. I mean, that's the depth here. You're like 14th. I think their payroll was like 11th in the Premier League, and they're sitting in 14th place, and yet they would be one of the bigger clubs in these other leagues. That's how deep the Premier League is. So it's created a very watchable season. It's been a fantastic season. This will be the first time in over a decade that 3 clubs finish with over 80 points. That hasn't happened since the 13-14 season. That's incredible. And we may see all 3 over 85, which would be amazing. If City win out, they're gonna win with 89, and it will probably take all 89 for them to win. But if it's at 88, 89 point winner, that's not a particularly high level. That's sort of middle of the pack over the last decade. This isn't some Centurion Manchester City team or Liverpool when they got 100 or when they lost with 99. This is not that situation. There is so much depth, so much talent at the top, and that's what has made this so incredible of a season to watch. So enjoy it. But if you want to be angry at the wrong stuff. Be angry at Jurgen Klopp for the substitutions, or at Mikel Arteta. Be angry at Mikel Arteta for taking off your captain and your best playmaker 60 minutes into the game. That's where your anger should be. That one is viable, because I don't quite understand that one. But even that, if you're calling for Mikel Arteta to be fired after that game, you're not doing fandom right. You're not doing this right. He's too good of a manager. They wouldn't be here for the second year in a row if he wasn't. So you have to. Obviously, there's a cooling off period, and after a loss like that, the emotions run high, and that's part of why we love the game. But let's be excited about the right things, and let's understand what happened there, which is some good teams showed up and beat some even better teams, and that happens. Arsenal versus Aston Villa. There's no shame in losing to Aston Villa. They are fantastic right now, and they have gotten themselves into that 4th spot and look like they may land a Champions League spot. So losing to them is no shame. That's no shame. It's bad timing. That sucked for you, but that's not a bad loss. It just happened to come in April, which sucks, right? But if you played them in November, you wouldn't think too much of it. You'd go, okay, we got to bounce back. Well, now you do too. But that's not a bad loss. That's not a bottle job. Just because Arsenal last year was in first and then blinked and lost it, and now it's sort of playing out the same way. Listen, I get the PTSD that's coming back, but that doesn't make it a bottle job. That doesn't make it a choke job. It doesn't make it a bottle job. It just means you had to play the tough teams down the stretch, and you didn't have the lead in the league you needed when those games come up. But no shame in losing to Villa. That's a damn good squad. Ollie Watkins is probably the Premier League Player of the Year, especially if they manage to stay in 4th place and stay in that Champions League spot. And he's looking like he's gonna be the Golden Boot winner, and he's doing it without any penalties. Those are all goals from open play. So he's been absolutely fantastic. At this point, he would be my Premier League Player of the Year, although you shouldn't be voting on that yet. If you have a vote for that, and you've already cast it, you're not doing that right either. But right now, he'd be my leader in the clubhouse for Premier League Player of the Year. He's been fantastic. It's a good squad. Unai Emery has done a fantastic job. A little salt in the wound, Unai Emery coming back and hurting Arsenal. I get it. I really do. But let's be mad about the right things here, folks, because it's not over. It's not over, and nobody's choking. You just got to play to the end. You got to run the race. You got to play all 38 games, and you got to see how it's going to turn out. And there are 6 more games to come. There are plenty of places for Liverpool and Arsenal to continue to stub their toes and drop more points and let City run away with it. Or there are plenty of opportunities for City to stub their toes and to blink and drop a point here or there. And all it's going to take is a draw here or a draw there. and it's going to be wide open for the taking. So 6 games is a lot of football. There's a lot of football left. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is not over. If you think it's over, if your response to this weekend was, well, the league is over, you're not doing this right. You're just not doing this right. Get out of your own way and enjoy the games. And if you're a Liverpool or an Arsenal supporter, all right, so you didn't enjoy this weekend. But you got 6 more opportunities. You've got some European football. Enjoy those too. And let's see if we can't keep this tight through the end. And, again, if City go on and win this thing, I hope it's by a point. My heart can take it. I'm excited for it. So all around great weekend. And I hope we can change the narrative a little bit behind what is actually happening, because this is as good of a season overall, especially if you look back as a neutral and you're just watching, if you're just here to watch great sport and great competition. This is as good as it has been in the Premier League for a decade. So it would be really awesome if we could get the hell out of our own way and enjoy it while it's happening down the stretch. So that's my soapbox. Get in that comment section. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I don't know what I'm talking about. Come up with a reason other than you're American. Come up with a reason other than you're a Man City fan. I would love to hear an actual disagreement. So get down in that comment section. Hit me up on Twitter too, @PitchsidePub. You can yell at me on there. While you're at it, if you're going to yell at me, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Help me out a little bit so I can give you more ammunition to continue to yell at me. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out the website. We got a free newsletter on there that we're going to start sending out. You can subscribe to that as well. Thanks as always for joining us here on La Pausa at Pints and Punditry, a podcast at the Pitchside Pub.